Hey guys, my name's Jimmy, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Warhammer painting video. It's a Nighthaunt video this time. As you can see, we've got Varclav The Cruel, the Briar Queen's chief henchman, in front of you now. This is just how I went about doing it. I have not painted him like I have with the Nighthaunt, the chain rasps and stuff like that I've painted before. This is a completely new way of doing it, using some different paints. I was going to say some different techniques, but not different techniques at all. It's all the same as usual. But anyway, as always, if you like the video and what I do, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and as always, drop me a comment down below with your thoughts, how your painting's getting going on, and a bit of talk about Warhammer as well. So, to start off, as you can see, he's painted Corax white all over, and I'm using some X-Ray Flame, which was one of the paints that predates the contrast paints, and came out around about the same time that the Nighthaunts did, and this was kind of, it works in a very much the same way as a contrast, but a little bit differently. So yeah, it's not too bad. Then what I did was I dry brushed over some Corax white over those ranged edges with a very large dry brush. This kind of, you don't have to do this really, you can pick out all them edges individually if you wanted to give it keep most of that green in there, but I like having that kind of white, kind of flecky kind of colour. Then what I'm doing is I'm using Stormhost Silver over metallic areas of the model. This is for no real reason other than the fact that the iron breaker that I want to use does not sit very well on white paint, and it kind of always looks a bit patchy. Then I'm using some Nighthaunt Gloom for his cowl, for that top row part of the model. It's another paint that also came out at the same time as that X-Ray Flame and just predates contrast paints a little bit as well. Then I'm using the Iron Breaker over the metallic edges again, just to give it that darker metallic look. So it should go into focus all the time. There we go. Then what I'm doing is I'm using Retributor Armour over things like the candlestick holder that he's carrying. This is to give it a gold edge because I didn't want it to be silver. It makes it a bit more look, a little bit more regal in a way as well. Then once that was done, I used Nuln Oil over all the metallic areas. This darkens the metallic areas quite a lot more. However, if you are doing this over Stormhost Silver, you might want to use one or two coats if you want that dark grimy look. I even put it over things like the candlestick as well to provide a lot more shadow to it. And then what I'm using is, I'm using Typhus Corrosion over selected areas of a metal. This is something you don't have to do, but this is something I like doing with, especially with Nighthaunt, because it gives their kind of blades that rusty look. Now to help improve that rusty look, all I'm using is some Riser Rust, which is like an orange dry brush paint. Just dry brushing it over very lightly, in most cases anyway, the Typhus Corrosion. This gives it that kind of aged, weathered look as well. As you can see, I went a bit heavy-handed on that sword. And then all I did was, using Iron Breaker again, a light dry brush over that Riser Rust. It breaks it up a little bit, adds a metallic fleck to the rust, which is what you get in quite a lot of rust as well. And then don't forget things like the little details like that skull at the bottom of the model. Using some Ushabti Bone, just paint that skull over, and it'll give it a nice kind of off-white kind of colour. There's kind of a bit more of a bony kind of colour. And then I wanted to go for something a bit different with that candle, so I used Genestealer Purple to paint the candle. This is kind of my kind of way of keeping it more in line with Shadespire and stuff like that. Then using some Seraphim sepia, going back over that skull once it was dry, just to give it that dirty, grimy kind of highlight and shade kind of look. And then, as always, you just do things like the bottom pieces, so like adding Nagaroth Knight and then highlighting the edges with Genestealer Purple and Slaanesh Grey to kind of make sure that it blends in with, if you've done the kind of Shadespire inspired bases like I did. And of course using Ardcoat to kind of finish it off and give it that kind of more fixed look. And then all I'm doing is I'm adding some little highlights of Shantybone over that skull, picking out certain raised areas like the top of the forehead, around the eyes, nose, trying to pick out the teeth as finely as possible, which is sometimes nigh on impossible. And then I'm using Slaanesh Grey on the melted wax part of the candle, which you can't see because I'm slightly off camera there. There we go. Just breaks up that purple a little tiny bit. And then using some Calidor Blue, I think it was, over certain raised edges. You can use Skink Blue over this and it gives it a bit of a brighter look, and this is just to highlight that kind of that Nighthaunt gloom areas and that top of the cowl and his kind of robage that he's wearing. And then don't forget you've got that kind of mottable flesh that you kind of need to do as well. Many ways that you can do this. You can use Pallid Witch flesh, but I always go for, I use Iron Rack skin for the base coat, and then I use a light highlight of good old Deepkin flesh to give it that kind of highlight, because it's a slightly lighter colour over things like the fingers and certain edges of arms and forearms and stuff like that. And then of course don't forget little areas like that sword hilt handle for the sword, which I just painted using Dryad bark. And there you have it. That is pretty much my way of doing Varclav The Cruel. It's pretty simple. There's other little details, so I didn't paint the flame for the candle, so that was done using some yellows, a couple of yellow paints, not from the Warhammer range but from Arm Painter in all honesty. So yeah, and there's other little details you can do, so highlight metals, stuff like that. If you want to, it's entirely up to you. But there you go. So that's part of the cohort of the Briar Queen done. The chain rasps are done, and they were done in pretty much exactly the same style as the other chain rasps I've done before. But otherwise, as always guys, I hope you've liked the video. There will be the Briar Queen coming very soon, so we'll stick around for that. But yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, as always, as I say, hit the like button, hit subscribe, drop a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But for now, I will catch you next time. Bye bye now.